All right, Deb, it's Memorial Day.
It is.
We're recording this on a Monday. We figured, even though we have the most rabid fan base imaginable, that everybody would be out spending time with loved ones or friends on Monday. So we decided we're going to record on Monday and release it tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Tell me what Memorial Day is, because I actually thought I knew it, and I was obviously extremely close, but I didn't have it down precisely.
I think Memorial Day is...
Not a trick question, by the way.
No, I know. But I know that there's Veterans Day, there's Memorial Day.
Same. That's exactly where I was.
Okay, I think Memorial Day is remembering those we've lost.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Remembering the men and women who passed, died, made the ultimate sacrifice protecting this nation. Now, I didn't do enough research to find out if Memorial Day only honors those who passed while serving or honors the people who have served and who have also passed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. But I would hope that the ones that have served and passed, we would take that time to honor them too.
But does that fall under Veterans Day?
I don't know. The only reason I know this is because I recently met a mom whose son just signed up for the Marines.
Okay.
And she just posted all of it. And I went, oh, that's news to me. But I don't remember
Didn't retain any of that, did you?
Which slot goes, but Memorial Day, obviously.
So we're not a military family in that you didn't serve, Dad didn't serve, I didn't serve. I don't think...
A number of your uncles did, though.
Well, I was going to say the closest we get is to me only knowing really of one uncle, which was Uncle Walt, Aunt Ginny's husband, who we've talked about on this podcast.
Right.
He served in the Korean War, side story, when I was dating a Korean woman. And
No.
What?
Not in the Korean War.
Yeah, for sure, Korean War.
He was in Hawaii when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor.
I thought he fought in the Korean War.
No.
This story still is funny.
Okay.
So when I was dating a Korean girl and we eventually told Uncle Walt that, Uncle Walt said, oh, that's nice. And then for the remainder of the time that I was dating her, simply referred to her as that lovely Hawaiian girl. So the military thing, I mean, it exists. We clearly know people who have served, but there's nobody in our intimate circle that we can point to. And I've had friends who served in the military, and it was actually very interesting because some of them chose the military as a means to either pay for their schooling or to help alleviate financial debt of both theirs and their family moving forward. So however they entered, who cares, because they still served.
Right.
But it was interesting to kind of see that correlation. I don't know any of this information off the top of my head. When could women start serving in the military? And were you ever worried that you yourself had to serve, especially with having lived through Vietnam?
Well, I think women have been allowed to be in the military, but not in a fighting capacity, right? I mean, women were nurses, women were...
But that was you had a skill set and then you could apply it to the military, or you could go into the military to be a nurse.
No, I don't know about that. But nurses served.
But when Vietnam rolled around, were you oh no, little Debbie might see some combat?
No, never thought that. Not at the time of Vietnam. But I will tell you an interesting tidbit.
Please.
The year they did the lottery.
Which was late 60s?
Maybe 70.
We did a lot of research on this subject before we started talking about it.
I'm going to say 69 or 70.
Got it.
Maybe 71. I don't know. But, I can remember sitting in front of the TV as they were pulling birth dates out. It was
take me to that, because that's the worst lottery ever.
And so
they just did they make it fun? They're all right, everybody, Here we go. Here are the balls that are rolling.
It was not fun. I mean, you wanted to be like the last one called.
So they're just 4,
it was
22,
it was just
54.
That's all it was. There was no, it was no
confetti afterwards.
No confetti.
No handshakes. No oversized check.
But the first birthday that was called of the first lottery was September 14th.
Whose birthday is that?
Mine. So if I'd been a guy, I would have gone for sure.
That's insane.
Yeah, I would have gone for sure.
So clearly that didn't apply. It didn't apply to women the same way that it applied to men at the time.
Right. But if you think about it, I mean, just if you think like all of those days in a year, all of those months, all of those specific dates, and that yours gets pulled out first, like what are even the chances?
For the worst lottery ever.
Yeah, and somebody has to be first, but it was crazy.
That's Hunger Games stuff.
That's Hunger Games stuff, yep.
Nobody wants that. I don't have any military stories, but I think maybe I've talked about this one on the podcast, but if I haven't, allow me to elaborate. So obviously 9/11 happened my senior year of high school, and clearly patriotism was top of mind for everybody. And that year, that act probably spurred on infinitely more people to join the military than ever would have prior, right? Well, I still had a full year of school left. So even if it was something I wanted to do, I didn't really have that option. And I think every guy or even gal around that age thought, well, what can I do to help better protect my country so something like this never happens again? And that's within the first, month, 2 or 3. And then like everything, you just kind of get back to normal, and I started going back to school. That your senior year, when you turn 17, that's the year where all the military branches start sending you recruiting information, right?
Just like colleges.
Navy, Army, Coast Guard, Marines. We didn't have SpaceX yet, but that would have been very cool for me to try to join at 17. At some point, I thought legally I had to go take meetings with all of these branches. I thought like, well, you're an American male. You have to at least go give them 20 minutes to pitch you on the military. I didn't think I had any recourse. I thought it was, this is what it is. Like, you were born in this country. You don't have to do it, but you got to listen to a sales pitch.
Kevin, actually, now that I think about it, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
So here's where it got a little dicey. So I just assumed this, right? I just assumed it. I didn't have any conversations with you or Dad about it. I assumed, well, they're sending me all of this information. That means, hey, buddy, it's your time to go sit down and listen to what Colonel Jessup has to say, right? So
Colonel Jessup.
So I look at you at one point, and this is like, I don't know, April of my senior year in high school. And you're like, well, you were asking if I had plans. I said, yeah, I have a meeting on Saturday. And you're like, what meeting do you have? I said, I'm going to the Army. You were like,
I don't even remember this.
What? I said, well, the recruiting information, and I signed up for I didn't sign up for the military, but I signed up for the meeting. And you're like, why did you sign up for the meeting? I said, because I had to, right? You're like, no, what are you talking about, idiot? At no point did you have to sign up to go to the recruiting office to listen to the pitch from the Army. And I said, oh, so do I not have to go? You're like, oh, well, you're going now. You said you have to keep your commitments, but look at me. Under no circumstances are you to sign anything. And I said, okay. So you go to the recruiting office, and it's all of the branches exist in this one space. Okay. And it was over off of Moana.
Yep.
And my first thought was, don't even touch anything. Like, don't touch anything. Don't look at anything. Certainly don't sign anything because your mom told you not to. And I remember the guy just being a big dude. And he's fairly affable from what I remember. At no point do I remember a single word that he said other than constantly replaying in my head, don't join the military, don't join the military, don't join the military. So we eventually got through it, and I shook his hand, and he said, well, here's some more information for you. I mean, they just load you up with this packet of stuff. Yep. And of course, that the Army song is playing in my head, be all that you can be. And I'm like, I don't think you really want me to be all I can be. That's probably a bad version of myself for the military. Clearly, I didn't sign up for it. I had to go through it. Honestly, I can't believe you let dumb 17-year-old Kevin go to a recruiting office by himself after he already made the mistake of thinking he had to legally go do it.
It was probably a commitment thing, truthfully. You made the commitment, now you have to go, right?
But this is like
you would have accidentally signed up or something?
Because if the guy would have said, hey, we just need you to sign this just to say that you were present for my own numbers, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. And I wouldn't have noticed that it was attached to a 100-page document. And then you would have looked at Dad 5 minutes after I left and said, what's the worst that could happen? And then I come home in full fatigues and a shaved head.
No, at that point you were already going to college. You already knew where you were going.
But does that, if I signed up for the military, even on accident, does it matter that I was still going to college?
I think, you would have been 17. So you weren't 18.
Oh, I couldn't have even legally signed up.
I think we would have had to sign for you as well, that you would have gone when you were 18. You couldn't go until you were 18. I think that's how it works. I'm not sure. But listen, I think I love the idea of every young man and woman listening to the military pitch.
Sure.
I mean, I think that they have a lot to offer. I mean, thank God, literally, that we have a military. And I think for those of us that are not involved in it, we need to do a better job to know about it, right?
Clearly, we don't even know what the holidays we're celebrating are about.
Exactly. So, I don't think that's a bad idea. I have no recollection of that other than it feels right that if you made the date, I would have made you keep it,
Yeah, I think my point was this. I was too dumb to know that I had a choice.
Yeah.
Meaning I was too dumb for the military to actually want me to protect this country. Let's start the podcast.
Welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. One is a Harvard Business School alum. The other is her son, discussing business, pop culture, family, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Deb and Kev.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. Sitting across from me, dripping in head to toe, red, white, and blue camo, it's my mom, Deb.
I'm Deb.
And I'm the guy you would want next to you in the foxhole because everyone would definitely be aiming for the tall guy. I'm her son, Kev, and this is our podcast. On today's show, Deb is back with her business segment, and she's taking a timely question and asking it to the audience, which she will then answer, which is, should you fire someone when you're understaffed? And we have a bunch of fun options for Deb